Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I'm your host, Clay Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks Take, all in one take. It is Sunday night, April the 13th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. I hope you are well and that you had a great weekend. I had a wonderful weekend, which I'll tell you about in a second. Was at the game last night with some great company, saw some great people. Didn't see a great result, especially for Derek Forbort. I'll get into that. So we have some Canucks news to talk about, given that they practiced today, and we had a lot of updates about the roster, stuff that I talked about in my vlog already today. But if you didn't see that, I'll recap it for you here, and a lot of time for your questions and your comments as well. So moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legends, Hall of Fame, and franchise members, thank you for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether my beautiful neighborhood of Richmond or Steveston in Richmond, in the city, lower mainland, province, country, continent, around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be doing anything else, watching anyone else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. But the fact that you are here with me in my Dear Evan Hansen shirt, fangirl, this was for you. Well, it wasn't specifically for you, but this is the shirt I was wearing today. I wore it for my vlog today. I realized that this is the Dear Evan Hansen shirt. So yes, whether I appreciate you guys watching, and know that you can. I'm always grateful for you, and never ever take any of you for granted. No matter what shirt I am wearing, no matter what kind of good looking haircut I have. Adrian says, the frame behind you, the Canucks retired jersey, remind me of the different octane levels at the gas station. Oh, very good. Yes, this my friend Dave did this one. It's really, really cool. Oh no, I'm trying to there. That's a good look at it right there. I never thought about that, but now I can't unsee it. That's pretty funny, actually, Adrian. So this is how you get involved tonight. You can subscribe to the channel, get active in the chat section, get notified of my videos whenever I post. You can like the video, like the fact that we're together, like the fact that the Canucks, Phil Hito, who was back at practice today, surprisingly. Not a lot of other things to like, though, about the Canucks roster. They played a decent game last night. I'll get to that in a second. You can leave a donation, get the donation train out of the station. You can gift a membership, buy your own membership, upgrade your own membership, use your monthly membership message. And if listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. Glad that your bowling tournament went well. That's awesome, Tyler. Congratulations. So yes, again, those are all the ways that you can get involved tonight. All right, I'm going to talk quickly about my weekend. Then I will happily talk about the Canucks, and then I'll happily see the second half of the show to all of you. So Friday night, took it easy at home. I think Gil and I were planning to watch something, but we didn't. I can't remember if I went for a walk, or I can't remember what I did on Friday night, but I remember I didn't see anyone and just took it easy at home because I had an early morning Saturday. Saturday morning, I had to be out of the house by 7. Helped with a men's retreat in the morning out in Coquitlam. So I ran all the tech and I played music for mass. The piano was nice. Then Saturday afternoon, I saw my goddaughter in Coquitlam, which was nice. Went to Donut Love. First time I went there, it was pretty good. And then Saturday night, I was at the Canucks game with legendary Andrew Chang. It was one of his legend perks. We had a great time at the game, great time catching up, eating carved sandwiches, drinking Pepsi, and just catching up on life. So I had a wonderful time with Andrew. Got to see Selena, Hall of Fame member Selena Chin, working very hard at the concession outside of section 315. So nice catch up with her. And I saw some people throughout the stadium, people that have been watching the show. They say they've been following me on this channel, which was really great. Didn't have a big meetup at First Intermission, which is fine. Sometimes you plan those things and not a lot of people come, which is totally cool. But overall, good time at the game. Like the way the Canucks played, at least for the first 2 periods. And then, like many times this season, they kind of blew the lead in the third. And then it was, of course, marred by good things like Tyler Mueller's debut. He didn't do much, but at least it was a good Memorable day for him, but of course marred by the fight between Yakov, Trenin, and Derek Forbort, which I'll talk about in a second. Then today, really lazy day. Went to Mass in the morning, then took Gail out for lunch. We went to the Steveston Seafood House. Beautiful prawns, bacon wrapped scallops, seafood linguine. Then I took a nap in the afternoon, which is nice. I haven't been napping a lot, and I love my naps. I'm pretty lazy. I'm a pretty lazy guy. I do a lot of things, but I'm still very lazy. Nap in the afternoon, then got up, did a bit of work, then I napped again. Then Gail and I went out for dinner, did some grocery shopping, picked up Kayla from church, ran some errands, and then set up for the show. So that's how we got to here. I hope your weekend was more productive, at least today, than mine was. I kind of did all my productiveness yesterday, and for some reason I thought that I deserve to be super lazy today. And now I'm paying for it because I got all the stuff that I was supposed to do for work tomorrow. So I'll do some of it tonight and maybe ask for forgiveness tomorrow. Okay, let's talk about this Canucks game. Well, let's talk about, more importantly, what happened at practice today, because a lot of it is spillover. Oh, at least the biggest story is spillover from last night's game. Okay. Oh, no. Did you see Besser's girlfriend posted one of our final few hikes on a pic with her dogs with Sherwood's dogs? Oh, did not see that, but that makes me sad. And Edmund, I do not think Verlander plays in the Canucks lineup, Vancouver Canucks. I think he will sign with Abbotsford, though. There's no point getting him in for 2 games this year. I don't know. I just have a feeling it'll be Abbotsford more than the Vancouver Canucks. Okay, there's 5 things I want to talk about that Rick Tocchet talked about, and then I'll do my Mitchell sponsor read, and then I'll turn it over to all of you. The first one, the big one, is Derek Forbort has a broken orbital socket. What that means is one of the bones around his eye is fractured, which absolutely sucks. Now, I was going to do a breakdown of the fight on my channel, like I do my Go breakdowns. I said, no, I don't want to. It's not about glorifying fighting. It's just, I don't know, like. Do I want to do an 8-minute video on poor Derek Forbort getting his eye socket cracked? So we know what happened last night. We know that Trenin hit Quinn Hughes as Quinn Hughes made a pass. It wasn't a dirty hit, but it was a hard hit. You know, you never want to see our captain get hit like that. But it wasn't dirty. It wasn't a dirty hit. Let's make that clear. But then Forbort challenged Trenin at the end of that shift. And as they fought, as Trenin was going to his knees, Forbort hit him once in the chest, like here, and then once on the back, not on. So neither punch hit Trenin's head. And I'm trying to be as objective as possible. One of the chest punch was while Trenin was going to his knees, and then the light punch to his back was while Trenin was on his knees. But then Trenin did get up, so it's not like he was on his knees turtling. He was getting up trying to fight, and then we saw what happened. Then he wrestled Forbort down. Then while Forbort was down on the ice, I was worried that he hit his head. The linesman was holding him as making sure, like cupping the back of his head, making sure they didn't get, crack it. And then Trenin actually, it was like, I don't know, you ever seen Roman Reigns in wrestling kind of pound the mat or almost load up? He actually braced himself on the ice, and then he came back, and he punched with downward force. And we know that a downward punch, I don't get in a lot of fights, but I know that a downward punch has a lot more force than a lateral punch. To a defensive Forbort, like he's not even covering up, just like this, cracks him and breaks his eye socket. That's crazy. He broke his eye socket. And I truly think if the roles were reversed, I'd like to think I'd be objective enough to say, okay, maybe Trenin shouldn't have punched Forbort when he was on his knees, but Forbort definitely shouldn't have punched Trenin. And remember, if these were reversed, if the roles were reversed, Forbort should definitely not have punched a defenseless Trenin. So that's kind of confusing. Let's just go back to what really happened. So maybe Forbort shouldn't have punched Trenin when Trenin was falling to his knees, but it happened so fast and they weren't hard punches. I don't know if that justifies it, but it certainly doesn't justify a cheap shot from Yakov Trenin. So last night, the referee says we're going to review the major, but they didn't. There was no major penalty aside from the fighting. Trenin got 5 for fighting, as did Forbort. Trenin got 2 for instigating, but Bluger got 2 for interference because he jabbed. I love this. He jabbed Trenin from the bench, and then Trenin got a game misconduct. But you don't go shorthanded because of that. If it was a match penalty, then it's a 5-minute major. But no, there was no match penalty. So not only did he got off, yeah, he got the game misconduct. He didn't, but it was whatever. It was 10 minutes left in the game. But there was no penalty to the team, if you see what I'm saying. There was no 5-minute match penalty. And then to top it off today, we find that there's no supplemental discipline, no fine, no suspension. And meanwhile, so Trenin can play next game where Derek Forbort starts his preseason, his offseason early, and he's looking at a 4 to 6 month recovery time. How is that fair? How is that fair? And I'm trying to be objective as I can. And I'd like to say that I'd be saying the same thing. I probably wouldn't be talking about it as much, but if the roles were reversed, but it's ridiculous. One guy got to go to the showers early last night, not a big contributor to Minnesota. And the other guy now has his quality of life affected for the next half a year. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So would love to get your thoughts. I know you guys are already talking about it in the chat, but love to get your thoughts directly to me about that in a few minutes. So that's storyline number 1. A very negative storyline. Storyline number 2 is a positive one in that Filip Chytil was actually at practice day. He was wearing a non-contact jersey, but Filip Chytil was indeed there and taking part in drills and things, which was awesome. Like, this came out of nowhere. Now, of course, with 2 games left, Monday against San Jose and Wednesday against Vegas, of course, he's not going to dress for the rest of the season. You'll be hearing that about 3 more times in this vlog. But the fact that he's out there, it's a positive sign. Rick Tocchet has said on numerous times that Filip Chytil has said this concussion is different than previous ones in a good way, meaning hopefully not career ending. You never know with these things. And hopefully that Chytil is able to come back from this. And for all intents and purposes, he has the whole summer. We're not trying to get him, like I said, to the last 2 games. So he can start to skate with the guys while they're still here for the next 3 days. And then after that, it'll be a bunch of rehab on his own. So that is a positive thing. You know, whether he shakes out as a 2C, a 3C, whatever it is, we certainly did not, like, obviously his quality of life, his life comes first, his health. But you certainly, from a hockey and business perspective, you don't want to think that he was like a key piece coming over in the JT Miller deal and then he was forced to retire early. So hopefully that's not the case. And it was a great sign that Filip Chytil is at practice. And no, Rome, I did not talk about the annual hockey pool. I'll be talking about that very quickly at lunchtime, but I'll be dedicating a whole show about it on Thursday. Hey, Crad, I hope you're not sleeping because I'm boring, but no, nice to see you. So that's storyline number 2. Storyline number 3, talk about Petey, confirmed that he is indeed shutting Petey down for the season. I think we knew that yesterday, actually. Jeff Patterson pressed him for a bit more, and he did talk about the fact that, yeah, they want him potentially training here as opposed to Sweden, potentially working out with Quinn Hughes or working out with any of the current or former hockey players that do kind of workout sessions, gatherings throughout the summer. So obviously they need a big year from Petey as our remaining center of the big 3, right? Miller and Horvat are both gone. Lindholm was gone, even though he was here. Chytil was hurt. So right now, a lot of eggs in the Petey basket. So no news today about Petey, rather just more talk about how he might have a better offseason. Then we got confirmation that Thatcher Demko will not play against for the rest of the season. So they're shutting him down for the year, just like they are doing for Chytil. No kidding. Pettersson and now Thatcher Demko. This one isn't a physical injury, thank God. It's not another surgery, knee, hip, popliteus, whatever. He's simply sick. Not simply, but he is sick. And why rush him out or have him play when he's not 100% when the games don't mean anything? So Thatcher Demko will not be playing in any of the final 2 Canucks games. My guess is Tolopilo plays tomorrow against San Jose, and then you play Lankinen on the season finale, the home finale, the fan appreciation night against the Vegas Golden Knights. So that's my guess, is Tolopilo will start tomorrow against San Jose, and then Lankinen gets Vegas on Wednesday. Finally, word on Tyler Myers. I don't know what his injury is, but he missed the last game or 2. He was at practice, but Rick Tocchet hinted that he will probably be shut down for the rest of the season as well. not playing the Canucks' final 2 home games because of his injury, whatever it may be. And he did say that if their circumstances were different, i.e., fighting for a playoff spot or fighting for playoff positioning, that Tyler Myers could play. But there's really no risk. There's no sense in rushing him back for meaningless games. So Chytil, no-brainer. PD sounds like a no-brainer. And then Myers and DEMKO are more like coaches' decisions, saying it doesn't make sense to do it when these games don't mean anything. So those are 5 kind of updates from practice today. One interesting thing that I want to show you guys is Calgary won today. Calgary beat San Jose. So what's crazy is look at this. Minnesota has 95 with 1 game left. St. Louis is 94 with 1 game left. Calgary has 92 with 2 games left. If Calgary wins out and gets to 96, all Minnesota has to do is get 1 point in their final game, and they own the tiebreaker over Calgary. St. Louis has to win their final game to hold off Calgary, but they will earn the tiebreaker over because they'll both have 32 wins, regulation wins, but then St. Louis will have more regulation overtime wins, less shootout wins. So basically, and this is presuming that Calgary wins both of their final games. So a lot has to happen. I think they got Vegas and LA, so it's not the easiest schedule for Calgary, but Calgary can still make the playoffs, and they could beat either of these teams out by winning both their games, getting to 96 points. Why I bring this up is if Vancouver had hung on to beat Minnesota in regulation, so imagine Minnesota had only 93 points instead of 95 points, then they'd have 93 points with 1 game remaining. Calgary could have controlled their own destiny, i.e. win both their games and they're in for sure, if Vancouver had held on to beat Minnesota. But instead, Minnesota scores 2 goals in the 3rd period and then scores the overtime winner. So it's crazy how 1 game, and we can talk about this about 80 games, 82 games through the season, but it's crazy how 1 game can have that much impact on the standings. So the Calgary Flames fans were fans of the Vancouver Canucks last night. And as I tweeted out last night, it was a tweet that got a lot of love. I said, Calgary Flames fans experienced Vancouver Canucks hockey last night. With 20 minutes to go, it looked like we were going to beat the Minnesota Wild and significantly help the Calgary Flames playoff chances. But instead, it was the opposite. And I'm with you, Viper. Calgary's my least favorite team. So I have no problem if they don't end up making it. All right, friends, let me do my Mitchell sponsor read. That's all I want to get to today. And then actually my Mitchell sponsor read will take a couple minutes though, because I do want to explain. The sponsor read doesn't take longer, but my shows for this week, I want to explain for a couple minutes, and then I will turn it over to all of you. So I always start off my mid-show sponsor read by thanking my primary sponsor, and that's Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Shout out to my secondary sponsor, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. You can check him out at coachpatrickliu.com/clay and receive a free 5-day workout when you do so. Thank you to Gassy Jack Art, maker of that fine artwork, getting new artwork soon from Gassy Jack. I can't wait. And thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks off your next purchase of Vessi shoes. Thanks to everyone who's purchased Canuck Clay merch. You can do so at canuckclay.threadless.com. Appreciate that. And also reminders of how you can get involved in tonight's show. You can subscribe to the channel. You can like the video. Leave a donation. We are still looking for the first donation of the night. Get the donation train out of the station. Gift a membership. Buy your own membership. Upgrade your own membership. Use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, you can rate and you can review. Now, I do want to review my shows for this week. Because there's a lot of changes to this week's schedule. Tomorrow, we will not have Canucks After Dark because Parker is out of town. And that is great for me because I'm at the Canucks game. So I will try and get home from the Canucks game in time to do an 11 o'clock post-game show, if not 11:15. But we're going to aim for 11, and I'll change it to 11:15 if I'm running late coming home from Rogers Arena. So 11 o'clock CCC, but no Canucks after dark. Tuesday, not doing a show because there's no Canucks game, and it's my final night of bowling. And as much as I want to run home and tell you guys how I did in the second week of playoffs, build on my first good week. We have our league wrap up with a social. They pay out of the prize money, and then that could go well past 10, 10:30, even closer to 11. And then I have my 12 o'clock prayer hour at the church. So Tuesday night will be no show. Wednesday will be a show after the final game of the season. I'm not going to that. I'll be at church, but I'll still do a show. And then Thursday night, I'm going to dedicate the show to a bit of a playoff preview. But more importantly, I'm going to announce all the details. I'm going to make live my NHL confidence pool on Thursday night because all the playoff matches will be set. That's the last day of the regular season. And then if I'm not streaming, Friday and Saturday, I want to make sure that that I answer all your questions on Thursday night with regards to the playoff pool. So it's a lot of fun. For those of you that entered it last year, I can't remember how many entries there were, but there are a lot. There's some money up for grabs, and it's a really, really unique but fun way to do a pool. It's not based on brackets. It's based on just who you think's going to make it to the finals. It's a lot of fun. So, and I know Rome was asking about earlier. Many of you guys have asked me about it. So I will be going through all the details painstakingly, so there are no questions on Thursday night. So those are my shows for this week. There's tonight. There's tomorrow night at 11. No Canucks After Dark. There's no show on Tuesday. There's CCC on Wednesday, post-game, last game of the season. And then Thursday night, which I will focus on the details of my NHL confidence pool. Okay, let's do your questions for the next 20 minutes or so. And I'll answer the questions starting now. Actually, really quickly. Hey, Canucks Uncensored. Would you like to see Jet Wu make his Canucks debut? If he can't get a game with this many injuries, he might not ever. Yeah, I don't think... I agree with you. I think he's not in the Canucks plans overall. But yeah, it's now or never, especially with the injury being to, you can flip DPD back to the left and go Hughes and the two Petterssons on the left. And then you can go Hronik, you can go Mancini, and then Wu on the right. I agree. It'd be nice to see him play. Hey, Mike. Yep. Rick Tocchet did talk about things that they can work on. We can work on for sure. So, that's not for sure, but it sounds like a guy who is planning on being here. Oh, you're at the game, Sarah. Make a poster for Sharks player during warmups. Am I a traitor? No, you're not a traitor. No one's here to judge. Sarah, I would love to meet you if you have time. Anyone who's at the game tomorrow, I will be there. And for the first intermission, if anyone wants to say hi, first intermission only, I'll go to section 316, which is the Legends locker room. So Sarah, I'd love to meet you if you have time to come up to 316 during the first intermission. That's where I'll be. And I just kind of hang out there and chat with anyone who wants to chat. So first intermission for the Canucks Sharks game outside of section 316. To whom do you assign the NHL individual awards this season? Adrian, I'm not going to go through all of them right now. But I think off the top of my head, I think Hellebuyck wins the Vezina. I think he might win the Hart actually too, believe it or not. I think Makar wins the Norris, as much as I want it to be Hughes. Gosh, I got to think about these. I have to look at the nominees. Like rookies, that's going to be a close one too. Yeah, the Hart's going to be interesting as well. Yeah, that was a horrible explanation. Let me think about it and be more armed for maybe that's something I should talk about on my Thursday show as well with the confidence pool. How far away are the Canucks from being true cup contenders in terms of players? I'd say 3 or 4 forwards away. Or they can get 2 or 3 of them this summer. And I think in terms of years, it's probably a couple years away. They're not. I think they're going to want to contend next year. I don't know truly. Maybe we're looking at 3 or 4 years down the road when DPD, Verlander, when they've kind of come into their own, Lekkerimäki, and hopefully Hughes and PD and DEMKO are still here. So I think 3 or 4 players away, 3 or 4 years away, maybe 2 or 3 years away. Do you think Peril should resign from Department of Player Safety? There are 2 examples where yes, I know Dickinson and Forbort. I would love to hear a reasoning, but they never explain reasoning why they don't fine or suspend someone. So I don't know if I'm calling for his resignation, but I just want more transparency. For sure. Hey, Ian, Ratu, for full-time third-line center. Yeah, I think he could. Is Pettersson, Hito, Ratu, Bluger strong enough? It's not for me. I would love to get another center, then push Bluger or Ratu to wing. But no, Ratu is a center. Yeah, or maybe you get a bona fide 2C and move Hito to a wing. But I could see him, depending on obviously what happens in free agency, I could see him being our third line center next year. And I'd be okay with that. He's shown plenty, a lot to work on, but he's shown plenty of positive attributes for sure. Hey, Gerald, the jet setter. What's your views on the offseason next season? Offseason, spend all your money on forwards. Next season, I think I have a gut feeling, and I've heard from people who've talked to people that they are going to go for it, get back to the playoffs. So that might include trading our first round pick as well. I would love Nick Ehlers, even though he got hurt again. I don't know, none of the centers in free agency really jump out at me. So I don't know, maybe they pull off a trade and use their first round draft pick as part of it, Raymond. Last night notwithstanding, are you for or against fighting in hockey? I don't mind it. I think it has its place still. So I would be lying if I ever said that I would want it out of hockey. I've never said that. So I don't mind. Like, it happens once in a while now. I think that's fine. Just last night was a bit of a blip. Do I see Joshua finishing his contract with us? I think it's 50-50. There are some times where I trade this guy. There are other times where wow, he brings some size and some skill that we could use. So when he's on his game. So I think it's 50-50. What do you think Canucks going out and getting a tough guy like Reeves or Rempe to stop other teams from taking? Those guys can't play a regular shift. I think it ends up hurting your team more than it helps, to be honest with you. I think you can work on team toughness a little bit, but I know it stinks when you see our guys get hurt or get liberties taken. But do you want to pay a guy to skid around for 5 or 6 minutes a game? I'm not sure if it makes sense. Do you think the Canucks will make lots of inquiries about different players? What do you think, offensive players and defensive players? Yeah, Carol, nice to see you. I got your text. Sorry, I didn't reply. I see them going after forwards. I think they're happy with their goaltenders and their defensemen. Just wanted to know what NHL playoff series you're interested in watching in the West and East. Yeah, Simon, I think you asked me this every single stream, and I've said the same thing every single stream. The Dallas-Colorado one is the most intriguing to me in the West, and the Battle of Florida is the most intriguing for me in the East. Oh, it's up to you, Sarah, but yeah, I'll be there. But and I'll be there for the whole intermission, so do your best. I'm not sure how far 316 is from where you're sitting tomorrow. Clay, I went to the Abbotsford game on Friday night. I had a great time. I met PDG. Yes, I saw your picture. Thank you, Cindy. I'm glad that you got to meet your favorite player. I hope he treated you well. Hey, Clay, did you see that all US-based original 6 teams missed the playoffs in the same year? Yeah, I do know. I didn't know about the US-based original 6. I saw a tweet about Pittsburgh, the Rangers, and Boston missing the playoffs for the first time ever in the same year. But I guess it's Rangers, Chicago, Detroit, Boston, right? Those are the 4, and then the Montreal and Toronto were the original 6. That's crazy. That is crazy. Talkit wants to stay. Hey, Lyndon. Our next season is going to be like an Avengers movie or just having them all assemble. If Bedard doesn't sign an extension July 1, do you think Canucks have a chance to offer sheeting him? Yeah, I think they could. I don't know if they will. My day was great today, Harry. Thank you for asking. Here we go. Kucherov for the Art Ross. Yep. McCarr for the Norris. Yep. Hudson for the Calder. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Him, Mishkov. Yeah, there's a lot of Wolf, Celebrini, Hellebuck, Vesna, Carberry, Jack Adams, Drysdale, Rocket Richard. Thank you, Justin. Nice to see you. Taka did say a lot of work in the offseason. Technically, his contract, I believe, is like a player. It ends on June 30th. We're wrestling referees working the game last night. It's so tough to say. This is a great question. I think the fact that Montreal is making the playoffs, that is going to help Hudson's case for sure. Maybe it is Hudson. I don't think Verlander plays in the last 2 games for the Vancouver Canucks. I think he's going to sign a contract with the Abbotsford Canucks. What are my summer plans during the Canucks offseason? Mostly in town because the way Gail's doing her masters, she's going to make 2020 this summer busy, and so next summer is lighter. Kayla is bowling in Junior Nationals in Quebec City in May, so Gail and I are going to that and then spending 2 days in Montreal, so that's May. June's my birthday, but no big trips or anything planned unlike last year, but Gail and I are going to Vegas in July for 4 days, and we're going to see the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere, which is pretty cool. What are you looking forward to WrestleMania? The triple threat is the most intriguing to me. The Rollins, Reigns, and Punk. Do you think Forbort hiding incident looks somewhat... Trenin, do you mean? Do you think the Forbort Trenin incident looks somewhat to the 2004 incident where Steve Moore injured Marcus Naslin prior to the Todd Bertuzzi incident? Steve Moore gave that elbow to Naslin, if I recall correctly. And admittedly, Darren, I did not draw those parallels, to be honest with you. Are they going to make a run for Stamkos? I hope not. Do you have a good year? I think we get rid of Demko and put all our eggs in the Lycan basket. Demmer's made of glass now. Yeah, I guess they have the whole year to figure it out, right? Because Demko's got 1 more year. I can't remember the last time a coach left a team to join another. Yeah, I have to look that up. Hito to the wing. Yeah, I see that, Ian. Montreal versus Toronto, but Ottawa is just as good. Yeah, do you think Ottawa could knock off Toronto? Do you think Tom Verlander can eventually drive his own pair on a second pairing, or do you see him closer to Marcus Pettersson, Tanev type, where he can complement an offensive defenseman? Great question. Not sure if there's Jordan or Witten. Doesn't matter. Happy to have either of you, both of you on. I think ultimately, if you are picked in the top 15, you should be able to drive your own pair. Not right away. Defensemen take a long time to mature. But I think he's got, you don't have to be the most offensive dynamo to drive your own pair. I think Verlander can do that. He does have offense in his game. He's got great skating. So that's one thing he has for him. By the way, DPD, I'm not saying he's going to be a top pairing guy, but if he can elevate to a second pairing guy, imagine a DPD Verlander. Can you imagine a Hughes Hronik, DPD Verlander eventually, and then a third pairing of Marcus Pettersson and whoever, insert name here. That would be kind of cool. Yes, unfortunately, that's a great point, fangirl. Is because he's a UFA, this is not going to help him for sure. Because he technically won't be ready to play until the season's already started. So he might be one of those guys that signs a little bit later, which is really unfortunate. How close do you think Hito will play again? Or how close do you think Hito will play again? Or do you play him next season? And same goes with EP40. Harry, I don't understand your question, but I think you're asking about this season. And I talked about that earlier in the stream. I think you missed it, that both Hito will not play this season. He's not even in a contact jersey yet. It's the end of the season, and 5, possibly 6 other Canadian teams and their fans are making preparations for the playoffs. Yes, if Calgary makes it in the playoffs, every single Canadian team will be in except for us. I don't think they will. I think too much has to go right for them, but it's still 5, all 3 Eastern teams and 2 of the 4 in the West. It does suck, Ricky. It really, really does. I think, no, Irvin, I think his trade value will be higher when we see him. I see what you're saying. Like, there's a chance it goes down because he's still known as this prospect, but I still think it can get higher. I call this this is very similar. Dear Evan Hansen, I think he wears a blue shirt in the show. Evan Hansen. Yeah, he wears a blue shirt with stripes, so with darker stripes, but it's very similar to this. It's got the different colored collar, it's a dark collar with a blue, light blue with dark blue. So if this was just a light blue shirt, then I look exactly like the Asian version of Evan Hansen. Would first round pick and rights to sign Besser upgrade the pick in return? Yeah, I just don't know why a team would trade for the rights for Besser when you can just try and sign him outright. And the only advantage is in negotiating with him early, but I just we don't see that a lot. If Tolopio plays tomorrow, I think it'll be one of those where he's playing against San Jose. They're not good of a team, but where he'll probably make some nice saves. He'll probably let a softie in, and he'll probably play average. That's just what I'm expecting. I don't think we should expect anything more from him. Masterton give to CBJ as a team award for persistence to hockey, still being in playoff race with the loss, and passing up Goudreau or to Landeskog for his return. Yeah, the Landeskog one, I think you'd have to do it next year, Justin, because technically hasn't played a game in the NHL yet, right? Gerald is saying Sarah's got to meet me. Yeah, then I can see if you sweat as much as you say you do. If our D is so deep, how are we giving up 3 goals a night? Yeah, but it's not... That's a fair question. I don't think it's just we're talking about results. We're talking about structure. We're talking about the personnel. And I do think that compared to the forwards, they spent a lot of capital to get Marcus Pettersson, and DPD's been a bit of a revelation. So I do think our D is deeper than it has been. It might not be deep comparatively speaking to other teams in the league, but you can't be weak everywhere on your team. You got to kind of know where you're going to put your assets. I think they're going to put their attention to the forwards. I really do. What happens to Forbort in the UFA? Do they let him go or resign because he's injured? No, I don't think you resign him. It stinks, Jessica, but you don't resign him unless you were going to anyways. And now any team that does sign him knows that he won't be ready at training camp. Hey, Jay, who do we think will win the cup? I think it's going to be Dallas or Tampa. Did I just give away my confidence pool picks? No news on Verlander, at least not that I've heard. I don't mind Roslovic. I like him, but he seems like a hit or miss type thing. I guess you can say that about a lot of players, but I've liked him in the past for sure. Yeah, I think Rangers, Predators, and us. I think we're the 3 biggest disappointments. Can't offer Jake Bedard until the end of next season. Verlander will probably sign and play for Abbotsford. Exactly. That's what I've been saying as well. Hudson for sure as Rookie of the Year. What have you made of the recent deployment with Hughes and Roenick split up? It's fine. Irvin, I don't read too much into these games in the past week or so, just because now's the time to experiment, right? You're not playing Ty Mueller if you're in a playoff race. So I don't read too much into it. I just like the fact that they're bringing Hughes' minutes down. Isn't Verlander already under contract with the Canucks? I don't think so. I do not think he is under contract yet. Make sure you're white to the Backstreet Boys concert. Okay, that's good. I'll be ready. I wonder if the referees have to meet certain standards. Oh, yeah, they go through training. Yeah, you have to apply. They just don't take... It might feel like it, but they just don't take anyone off the street. Verlander's unsigned. If he signs an amateur trial and only plays the HL, it saves. Yes. So some, teams like to have players on their ELC, right? Because it's cheaper, 3 years. But players like to zoom through their ELC so they can get to their next bigger contract sooner. Yes, I'll get it to you, Gerald. My weekend was awesome. Special Olympics function last day, test day yesterday. Then I had a dinner dance and today bowling tournament. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I know last year was so funny. Was he chirping Calgary when he said that they have holidays? Yeah, last year. Turned by Paul Heyman at WrestleMania 41. Sides with Seth. Yep, that I know. Keep Seth at the top of the. Yeah, that'll be a hot storyline for sure. What happens if PD tells Van he's going to go home? Well, they can't force him to stay, so I'm sure they'll say, okay, you better meet these certain benchmarks for sure. Tell Hito to wear a football helmet. Might wreck his mobility a little bit. Taking up baking again. Yes, I saw your sourdough. They look good. Hey, SGA. Besser hasn't looked very good lately, so you think he'll get his 8x8? Nope. Not from us, at least. Oh, you're talking about if PD goes back to train? First and Hoglander for Stamkos to replace Besser. What were someone tell me Stamkos' stats this year first? It's going to be, well, two names that were mentioned by reporters, by Ben Kuzma, not by Tocchet, were Wu and Wolanin. Wolanin is a lefty, Wu is a righty, so we'll see. Are you talking about if PD goes back to train on his own in Sweden? Sign and trade Brock. Sign and trade. Interesting. Those don't happen a lot, though. Talk said he would bring someone up, and I don't think he specified that is true. Would Stamkos be willing to come here? That is a good question. And would he play in the middle or wing? That's another good question. I doubt Stamkos will come here. He signed in Nashville because they're no tax state. Don't think Stamkos would want to uproot. First and a Hoglander for Stamkos or O'Reilly. Yeah, O'Reilly's too old for me. Carol says everyone hit the like button. Still look. I'm gonna wrap up in the next 5 minutes. Still looking for our first donation. If anyone wants to break the goose egg, do you think the D-man lineup tomorrow will be the foreshadow of a lineup without Forbort? Yes and no, because I think they're going to give every chance for Verlander to make the team next year as well. But yeah, it's a good point. Everyone else is under contract for next year. If Forbort was a right shot, I would sign him to a 1-year deal. On the left side, we were pretty deep. Yeah, with he used the two PDs, Kudryavtsev as well. How satisfying would it be, especially this year with the headlines coming out south of the border for a Canadian-based team to win the cup? You know, I generally don't care about this, and I don't care that a Canadian team wins, but I don't not want a Canadian team to win just so Vancouver can be the next. But yeah, that would be an interesting storyline for sure. For sure. How about convincing Gail to go to a Metallica concert? I would have a better chance of her convincing me to eat Chinese food. Yeah, no, that's not happening. I like Ryan Donato a lot. I like him a lot. Is he a UFA? Stamkos got a free trip to Sweden next season. I don't get it. I heard Zaka was the best bang for buck. I don't mind him. I don't know enough about him, though, to be honest with you. I think he's a skilled player, but I'd have to do a bit more research, admittedly. I was surprised that Ottawa did so well. I didn't notice him. Mean nothing game, but Besser and DeBrus and Mueller did not look that dangerous yesterday. It might not feel like it. What did I say? Was that me or is that someone else? I can't remember what I said now. How your hockey pool is doing. I retook the lead in my mom's work pool, which is good. I made a couple late season trades. I will hold off number 3 guy for second in my church pool. So I'm happy about both of those. Canucks averaging a 3.75 goals a game without EP40 in the lineup, and how the team record without him is like a 100-point pace. I don't read anything into it. I think it's other things like other guys just stepping up in his absence. I don't think that he's a reason why they couldn't score. Well, sorry, that's kind of that defies logic. He did not have a good season for sure, but I think that's not the sole reason why scoring is up. You can't just say it's only because he's out. But I hear what you're saying. Tried hard to get Zaka before I went to the Bruins. I never thought about that. Yeah, John Cena's in movies. Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan were in movies. Andre the Giant, The Miz. Stammer has 52 points and a minus 35. Yikes. Thank you for looking that up, Mike. I don't know. If the contract's right, and that's an easy cop-out. If the contract's right, I would at least consider it. Winnipeg Jets. And I think it'd be very fascinating to see if they get out of the second round, Simon. They signed JT Miller and then traded him the next year. So never. Oh, good point. Good point. Would I want Brad Marchand? Yes, just for the intrigue. No, for how much money I think he's going to demand. I want Cena to win now. Last sign and trade I know was Damon Severson for a second. Good to know. PDG was nice to me. Good. As you should. Stamkos' worst season since he was a rookie. Main cause of the Canucks' inconsistent season. The main cause was injuries. Injuries to key players. Secondary causes, lack of team chemistry, deployment, infighting, those things. Canucks are selling player worn Lululemon hoodies. Sounds like they are desperate for money, but I would buy my... Okay, so you're going to fall into the trap. So you're supporting them. What do you think about fans still booing the American anthem? Yeah, I was there last night. Last night the boos were louder than the previous game I was at. I don't like it. People can do whatever they want. I'm not calling... If any of you boo the American anthem, I'm not calling you ignorant. Some of the people that I see booing, I shouldn't judge. I better not say what I was going to say. I don't think it's a good look, so I don't do it. Hey, Lucas, do you see Juleson getting an NHL contract anywhere? Yeah, I do. Just not here. What's wrong with Chinese food? It's just not my favorite. Growing up, I think I've said to this chat many times, even though I'm half Japanese, half Chinese, I think I went to Japan, never went to China or Hong Kong, and I like Japanese food more than Chinese food. But the biggest thing is, growing up in Richmond, I identified more as a Japanese person just to try and stand out a little bit more. Yeah, but that's not the reason why I don't like Chinese food. Growing up, Japanese food was more of a treat. So maybe that's why I like it more. Would it feel like Four Nations 2.0 if a Canadian and US team makes the final? No, I don't think so. Just because you look at the makeup of any roster, and there's people, obviously, look at the Canucks. There are more Swedes and Finns and Americans than Canadians. So I don't think it's going to feel like that at all, to be honest with you. Stamkos and the Preds playing Sweden for the Global Series next season. There you go. Nashville versus Penguins in Sweden. So no reason for him to leave. That trip to Sweden, I hear what you're saying. Canucks trade their first round pick in Hoglander for Ryan Donato. Donato's good, but I don't know if I want to give up on Hoggy for sure. Should be interesting to watch Calgary, Minnesota, and St. Louis on Tuesday to see how the race unfolds. Yeah, it's crazy that's coming down the last week. I just wish that we were in it for sure. Play worn jerseys, gloves, and sticks, yes, but hoodies? Come on. Yeah, I know. There's a lot. And then people were bringing up the whole Ovechkin jersey last year. Why is Nashville and Pittsburgh going to Sweden for? Why isn't the Canucks instead? I know. We have a lot of Swedes for sure. Do you think Toronto will be a first-round exit? I hope so. Authentic sweat. Oh, wait. We're not talking about Sarah sweating, right? We're talking about the Lululemon. Yeah, I'm very happy for Landeskog, for sure. I like Stamkos, but maybe a Canadian market will change it. You mean for good or for bad for him? Oh, yeah, Bautista. I forgot about him. I don't boo the anthem. Booing is getting annoying now. Everyone down there is realizing they made a mistake down there now. Anthem booing is old news. It's silly. Will any of the Canucks go to the World Championships? I don't think Besser or DEMKO will go, or Hughes. I don't think Lankinen will go, considering he did Four Nations. I keep saying that Hronik should go if Czechia has a team, and maybe a couple of the young Swedes for sure. If Sherwood keeps up next season, are we able to keep him? I hope so. What a bargain for $1.5 million. All right, friends, it's 11:50. I am going to wrap up here. I got to do some of that work that I was supposed to do earlier today, but I did not get done. So don't forget, my shows this week. Tomorrow night, I'll do a post-game show once I get home from the game. No Canucks After Dark. Not because I'm at the game. It just worked out that way because Parker is out of town. Tuesday, no show. Wednesday, post-game show, last game of the year. Thursday, I'll do a show, and it'll be dedicated to my NHL playoff confidence pool. A lot of fun for everyone who joined last year. Moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members. Thank you for your support. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On the way, by the way, people were asking me what my off-season plan is. My May is not so busy. Then June, July, August is a bit better, but May is obviously NHL playoff time. My guess is I'm going to go 3 nights a week, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, down from 5. So no show after Canucks After Dark, if we even do shows for Canucks After Dark. and then no shows on Wednesday. So I'm leaning towards Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, but I can be convinced otherwise. All right, friends. Oh, Ian, this is your first time? That is awesome. Well, I hope you'll come back. Are you a Canucks fan, Ian? It sounds like it, but come anytime. We'd love to have you. And great seeing you online as well. Great seeing everyone here. So tomorrow night, tomorrow night, if you're at the game, first intermission outside of section 316, would love to meet anyone who's at the game tomorrow night as the Canucks take on the Sharks. I thank the moderators. I thank the members. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing on the way out. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. You can leave a very late donation and make sure we don't get shut out. But if we do, that's okay. Not doing this for the money. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. But it's a lot of fun, and especially I had a chance to spend time with Andrew last night at the game as part of legendary membership, and it's a good reminder as to why the wonderful people that make up this CCC community. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow night at 11 p.m. But Coach Rob to the rescue. Let's give Coach Rob some love in the chat, making sure the donation train gets out of the station, even though it's going to return very quickly. So Coach Rob with the $2 donation, almost a dono shutout, but instead Rob gets a dono shoutout. See what I did there? So let's give some love to Coach Rob in the chat for giving him, making sure we don't get shut out, and makes the conductor of the donation train have to do some work tonight. So once again, tomorrow night at the game, first intermission, or else 11 p.m. or 11:15, depending on what time I get home for my post-game live stream. Thanks everyone for being here. As always, don't forget to rate the bad joke. But my friends, we ain't done. Burned with the donation all the way from Germany. I don't know what currency symbol that is. I don't know if this is worth $2,000, $2, or 2 cents. Regardless, Burn, thank you. What is that? Burn, tell me what it is in the chat before I go. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it's worth. I just want to know what that is. Like, does Germany use the euro or the pound, or it is euro? Okay. Thank you. See, I'm not very smart. So thank you for two euros, whatever that. I think that's what, like $3.50 or $4, right? A bit more than 2 Canadian. I'll take it. So thanks to Burn, and thank you for Coach. Thanks to Coach Rob. Great stream tonight, minus all the fake news. This community is awesome. Thanks, Clay, for everything. No problem, Justin. I'm going to text you in about 2 minutes. Okay, friends, now I'm going to go. Don't forget to rate the bad joke on the way out. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I just have one question for all you guys. When 2 vegans get into an argument, 2 vegans, is it still called a beef? God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah.